Hi everyone, welcome to the video. My name is Andrew Balcom. I'm a stock photographer and videographer from Australia, and I live currently in the Netherlands. Well, I have done for the last 20 years. And I'm making a video to help you guys possibly sell more assets on the stock agency Alamy. My background with regards to photos is an editorial photojournalist. I worked for several years for a small newspaper as a photojournalist and editor. I've also been busy for several years writing and photographing for magazines. So my brain is kind of configured to finding things in life that I come across and identifying what would represent a good subject for news or current affairs for websites and other media sources. And over the years, since 2016, I've been uploading images to Alamy, and they have been selling regularly. My portfolio is just over 2,000 images. I don't upload that often. In the first 5 years, I uploaded quite a lot, but the last 3 or 4 years since I've been doing YouTube videos, it's been a lot less. And of course, I have a family, a full-time job, and a mortgage to pay. So it's a small portfolio, but I do get regular sales on Alamy. So hopefully this will help. I'll just go through some of my best sellers over the years now to give you an idea of what kind of images I've had success with Alamy. After that, I'll do a summary of what I think the most images in my portfolio have sold and what has not sold. And then I think I'll give you guys some advice on how to move forward to get more success with Alamy. Because I've noticed in the comments for my videos that when I say I've made a sale with Alamy, a lot of people say that they have not had much success with that agency. So this video will hopefully shed some more light on perhaps what success you can get with Alamy. Okay, back in 2016, I was a new stock photographer, but I did have that background in editorial journalism. And I think editorial travel journalism is quite a popular genre for photos selling on Alamy. So my first sale was in August 2016, and I took it while on holidays on a car ferry going from Tuscany in Italy to the island of Elba, where Napoleon famously was exiled for a few years or months before he infamously escaped and the Battle of Waterloo ensued. A bit of history. I took a photo of some deckhands pulling ropes off the boat and coiling ropes and things as the ferry pulled away from the dock. And that was sold for $50 as an editorial rights managed photo. I've actually taken that photo off Alamy now because I didn't have any signed consent forms for those workers. Even though it was an editorial, the EU privacy laws have changed in the last 5 or so years. So that kind of image, even though I think it was taken before the law changed, if I took it now, it could land me in problems with privacy issues because they're so complicated depending on each country. Some countries say even though if you publish it as an editorial photo, you can only do so with the written permission of the person you photograph. I think I'll upload that photo again because it was actually created before the law changed. So yeah, I think I was a bit fearful and premature in taking it off my portfolio. The next photo that sold for my first year in 2016 was a typical Amsterdam canal scene that featured the canal with the boats in it and possibly 17th century architecture on each side. That sold for a gross of $17.84. The next year I didn't really make a decent sale until July on 2017, and I was a bit worried that something was wrong, so I contacted Alamy and asked them, it's been several months since I've made a sale, why is that? And I think just contacting them put me on their radar more. They gave feedback saying you've got several dozen assets that you haven't keyworded, and I hadn't because I'd kind of lost heart and thought, why bother if I'm not going to make any sales? And they recommended to make sure I've keyworded and captioned all of the assets and upload them so they're not waiting in the queue. And pretty much soon after that, I was back on the radar of Alamy and making regular sales again. I'm not sure if there's an algorithm that they use to upgrade contributors, but my contacting them seemed to have worked. The next large sale was of coastal wind turbines at the entrance of Rotterdam Harbour at the Hoek van Holland, where the ferry boats go from Netherlands to England. That sold as editorial royalty free for $63 gross and 88 cents as a magazine half-page photo spread, one-time use only. Okay, I sold this photo a couple of times and it's earned me over $100 gross for Alamy, and that's of a bicycle with a flat tire. And I photoshopped the tire to take out all the logos and text and identifying marks so it could be sold as a commercial photo, and it seems to have been quite popular. Even though it's a very mundane image, it is one of these things that happens to people in the Netherlands because there's so many bikes. People get flat tires, and that seems to be some kind of news or issue that people want to read about or look at in the media or in advertising. The first time I sold it was in November 2017 for $56.81 gross. And the last time I sold it was actually in June 2023, where I sold it for $50.03 gross. So yeah, that's doing quite well. It was usage of magazines, books and advertising. Okay, another photo that I really liked selling was in November of 2018. And it's a kind of an editorial travel photo of a bunch of tourists in Tasmania on top of Mount Wellington overlooking the city of Hobart. And that's an editorial photo with worldwide usage. It was for print and digital in media, design and publishing sectors, and that sold for a gross of $62. I was okay with this photo being published with people in it because I took possibly the misconception that because there was like more than 6 or 7 people in it, then it should be okay as an editorial photo. I don't know if that's actually the case. I've taken a risk because I don't fully understand the law. I did look at some photo websites for rules in Australia, and I think it said that you could publish photos of people in Australia for editorial if you don't get the permission, but I'm not 100% on that. So yeah, always be aware of what the laws are in the countries that you publish the photos of. And that brings me to my biggest sale now, which was an editorial photo of a ship cruise liner just leaving Amsterdam Harbour, and that was in 27 October 2020. And that image sold for $119 gross. It was a multiple use, but used for a company. So a company bought it for use within the company as an editorial image. Another photo which was kind of similar to the flat tire in that it was mundane. It's a nature and wildlife photo, but it's of a sandworm lying on a beach, and it's a commercial photo. But amazingly, that photo sold for $71.53 gross, and it's just of a sandworm. These worms are used by fishermen as bait, so maybe it was bought by a fishing magazine or a news media publication to do with the environment or the ecosystem. I'm not sure, but it was sold in the UK as a half-page spread, as a royalty-free image, and for a distribution of up to 350,000. So possibly a fishing magazine, who knows. Another one I sold for $49 gross was of a photo of a Tasmanian police emblem, and I looked under Alamy's section in their website of what photos should I take, and I noticed that a lot of photos related to police are needed by the customers of Alamy. So for once, a recommendation from the agency itself for what to photograph has worked, and that was a royalty-free usage for worldwide books and magazines. So all of those years of uploading to Alamy, what conclusions can I draw about the sales that I've made? Well, first of all, I think except for the sandworm and the bicycle, most of my photos that have sold are editorial photos. Secondly, even though I have sold a lot of photos of like standard stock photos of fish oil capsules and electric vehicles charging, they do sell quite regularly, but they don't make the large sums that the other editorial photos have made. Animals do sell occasionally, but I think the most money I've made for an animal photo is of a gannet trapped in public in plastic on a beach, and that sold for around $40. But the other animal photos have sold every now and then, but they haven't made huge prices. A couple of things I've also noticed is magazines are still some of the most popular customers for my photos, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing, because I know magazines are becoming less popular and less able to pay for photos, so that's not necessarily a good thing. I've also noticed that companies have bought my images as well. The largest sale I had was bought by a company, and that was of the cruise liner in Amsterdam Harbour. So in summary, with my sales of Alamy, I'll just put it up on the screen, the different sales and amounts I've made over the years. I've noticed there was a big jump after the first year from 67 to 261. And then it kind of plateaued all the way from 2018 till 2021. And then last year was last year was my most successful year with Alamy, with $371 as opposed to $384 in 2018. So that is interesting. I haven't been uploading a huge amount, and my strategy for Alamy is no different to any other stock agency that I upload to, be it Shutterstock, Adobe or Getty iStock. I just find that when I upload to those agencies, I also upload my assets to Alamy. But bearing in mind the flavor of my photos are very editorial oriented. So whereas I probably don't have as much success with Getty iStock or Adobe, which is kind of commercial oriented, I do have more success with Alamy. So yeah, it's apples and oranges. So out of all of those years with Alamy, I have sold 118 photos for a total of $1,891. And that's for an image portfolio size of 2,170 images. So you can do the math to determine how much each image has made over those years on average. So what advice do I give stock photographers who want more success with Alamy? Well, first of all, I think you really have to shoot where you are. If you're on holiday, shoot the shit out of that place where you are and upload those images that you think will be successful for Alamy. If you're at home, just shoot local, shoot landmarks and editorial photos that you think might be newsworthy, and also landmarks that you think will be popular for travelers to come to and see as travel images. Don't, whatever you do, go out of your way to photograph something and spend money on getting there. The returns are just not consistent enough, and you're taking a risk because there's no guarantee that you'll get your money back. Only photograph stuff where you are when you are there. Also, I don't bother uploading live news photos. What happens is I tried that and it didn't really work for me. I'd be scouring the news for live events that are going on, and you put yourself under a lot of pressure to go to the event, photograph everything that's going on, and then rushing to get those photos to Alamy. And what I found was I went through all of those painful processes which put you under stress and pressure, and I don't think I ever sold one. I do recommend having a look through the section on their website about what kind of images the customers are looking for. And if you see something that is easy for you to photograph and something you're probably most likely to photograph anyway, make a note of that and upload those kinds of issues. I looked at it recently and I saw that police images were popular, and also electric car images were popular. And I have a shite load of electric car images, and they have been selling regularly for small amounts on the stock agency. And I did make that recent larger sale of that police emblem, that Tasmanian police emblem. Okay guys, that's all I have for you. I hope it was of some use to you. If it was, please give this video a like, and that will help me get noticed on YouTube and motivate me to make more photos, more videos. Anyway, I wish you guys all the success with Alamy, and let me know how you're going and whether this has helped at all. See you in the next one. Bye.